What's going on, everyone? So we got this person called Chris Mizo, who is basically having a meltdown over PlayStation games leaving Steam, saying stupid stuff like hot take. It's like, no, it's not a hot take, bro. It's pretty obvious you guys wanted PlayStation games on PC for the longest. You should have seen the crying when Sony never shared anything, like when Bloodborne came out, tons of other things. People were just all over. And this just proves it how much you've wanted Bloodborne when you were making the Bloodborne mod, getting all these PlayStation games. You know what I mean? Like it just proves how bad you wanted those games. And then you have the audacity to say something like a lot of PC gamers generally don't care about PlayStation games coming to PC anymore. It's like, how do you know that? Because you don't know the future lineup for all those games. But this is going to get interesting. Become a member, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Hot take: PlayStation does not optimize their games well with PC. This is a lie. Once again, it's like, what are you talking about? Sony has some of the best optimized games in the gaming industry, right? Everybody knows this. Unreal Engine 5 was the problem. I said this before in my recent video. There goes another guy trying to talk about PlayStation does not optimize their games well with PC. First of all, it was Nix's that was doing the ports. If they made any mistakes, they went and fixed it. But most PlayStation games ran very well on PC. He has some dumb stuff here to try to like make it seem like this is why PC doesn't need PlayStation. It's like, well, if you don't, then shut up about it. On top of that, he says because PC has already an insane amount of options. One, Steam library backlog. Sony has an insane backlog too. You have a lot of shovelware. That's also now coming on the Switch a lot, and PlayStation, you've seen it. Because there's stuff that only Japanese have that are in those sections. And it's a lot of shovelware. Both could have a lot of shovelware, but talking about backlog, it's like, what backlog do you have that I really don't have? And going forth from here and forth, last year with Ghost of Yotei and every other single player game that did not come out, like Demon Souls Remake, you're not getting Bloodborne, you're not getting Bloodborne Remake, you didn't get Gran Turismo, you didn't get Astrobot. It's a lot of games, and those are good games. You're not going to be getting every game coming forth after that for good. So just remember what you said, mods, that's if people care about it. And if they want a mod so bad, they'll go get a PC. You see what I mean? But you're not going to be able to mod PlayStation games because PlayStation games are not coming over there. Emulation? Seriously, everything has backwards compatibility. I mean, who cares at that point? Like I said, indie games and emulation, you don't have Nintendo games like you think you do. I can go get all of Nintendo's games and be able to play them online with people for $20 a year. Just saying, your emulation cannot play online. Indie games, really, dude? Indie games are on all platforms. You just have some certain people don't have, but for the most part, all the biggest ones and the ones people want to play are on PlayStation and Nintendo. MMOs, those are also now on consoles now, besides World of Warcraft. I don't understand why you're even bringing up MMOs. This guy is seriously crashing out. Look, MMOs are dead. Like, nobody plays MMOs anymore, bro. What MMO are you going to talk about? Whatever topped World of Warcraft since it came out? And that was the only one worth playing, but now that's old. Final Fantasy 14, that's been on consoles. And that topped World of Warcraft, actually. You want to talk about one? That was the game that did it. Remember, it took that no game ever did it, but Final Fantasy 14 was one that actually did it. Other than that, gachas kind of came out in free-to-play games, and they've all been on consoles. He's literally being slow here. Strategy games? Really, bro? Oh, boy. Early access? Guys, this guy is kind of slow. What do you mean early access? Bro, that's been on all devices for the longest. So PC has, what, some strategy games in early access? Dude, seriously, grow up. Multiplayer communities? Is this guy serious? Xbox titles? All of them are on PlayStation. And PC exclusives. Oh, you have the right to bring up exclusives. What a hypocrite. You see, this is some funny stuff right here. Everything you said is literally irrelevant. Definitely when it comes to exclusives. You don't have any exclusives because Valve doesn't make any games anymore. Unless you have Half-Life 3, then I would say you have a great exclusive on your hand. But when was the last time Valve made a game? And how much yearly? What, that one Star game or whatever that was called that you paid almost $1 billion for because you're slow and believe that they were eventually going to turn it into something? Just like you overfed the most anti-consumer company on the planet, NVIDIA, and supported Windows. Hey, look where that's at. Yeah, just don't say anything. So yeah, the thing that I can say you could probably talk about is mods. Everything else is on consoles. What a stupid post. And then you're going to have the audacity talk about PC exclusives like they really exist. Like what? What, some indies or something? I don't know, man. PC gamers are not starving for content. I could tell by how a large majority of PC gamers keep going back playing older games with expensive rigs. Go on Steam, still playing old Steam games like Counter-Strike. Those are the most popular games. Many PC gamers care more about optimization. Everybody cares about optimization. Modding, a large part of them, sure. Frame rates, everybody cares about that. Ultra wide, not everybody needs that. Community servers, price. Then cinematic exclusives. PC's biggest PC's biggest strength was never exclusives. It was freedom and variety. Dude, variety has always been in the gaming industry since Nintendo came on with all those third-party developers and all their games. To be able to do handheld and play on the screen is more freedom than being locked with a mouse and keyboard. And Nintendo has done that. That came from console gaming. You wanted to make the Steam Deck to copy Nintendo. Not you, because you ain't got nothing to do with that. Nintendo's games felt the most fun and free for the longest. People have said that. That's why they get on them. So you talking about freedom and variety? Freedom is being able to play anytime you want. And Nintendo has always provided that. Sony had that going for a while too. As a matter of fact, even then, historically, all video games historically since the 1990s all the way up to like the 20s were based around consoles, the game development kits, all of them. And all the games in the world were selling and making the most money on consoles. Historically, if you look at from the beginning to the end, move that microtransaction nonsense out the way, it's been on PlayStation and Nintendo. Xbox came in later. Sega was helping as well. So if it wasn't for consoles, there would be nothing. If it wasn't for Mario, there would be no gaming. And that's an exclusive. So this post right here is cringe. Like, you saying a lot of PC gamers genuinely don't care about PlayStation games coming to PC anymore is a temporary statement, even if that was true, because you don't know what games are coming around the corner, except the games like Venom, right? Wolverine, but you're going to want to play Venom and you're going to want to play Wolverine. I don't care what you say. You're going to want to play those games. You wanted to get Gran Turismo 7. You're not going to get Gran Turismo 8. The Astrobot team is probably going to make Astrobot 2. Horizon is going to come out Horizon 3. They're going to actually have another IP as well, too. I'm pretty sure they are. Spider-Man 3, Last of Us Part 3, Uncharted Next Gen, Infamous Next Gen, Infamous Remake, the next Ghost, which you're not getting because you like Ghost of Tsushima. You supported that actually a lot. God of War Trilogy, 3 games, Next Gen God of War, and the God of War Freya that Corey Borlaug is working on. That's names you like 15, 16 games. That's just it. There's a lot more coming, though. Sony's reviving a lot of classics as well. And they're going to be having other IPs we don't know about because they usually make a lot of new IPs. So you're not going to be able to sit here and tell me that you're not going to want any of those games. Just like if their money had something like Phantom Blade Zero and it wasn't coming to PC, you would sit there and be getting mad. So that's not a first-party exclusive, but it's a console exclusive. Now it is, because back then Sony used to have those to themselves, but now they let them go to PC, which, you know what, I'm totally fine with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I didn't have a problem with PlayStation sharing its games with PC, but you try to act like Sony owes you something. They didn't. They shared their games with you. You're the one that didn't support them enough because you want to go pirate and mod and do all this other stuff. It's like, sure, yeah, there's nothing wrong with modding games. I've done it before. But the pirating aspect and the over-complaining politically is something that is your issue. If a game is good, a game is good. Now, of course, sometimes that can destroy games, but it just depends. But as of lately, I kind of find this funny that you're trying to sit here and complain and then bring up like why PC has an insane amount of options. Like, you couldn't get mods workshops from Bethesda on consoles now, too. You can. Emulation's kind of irrelevant. Because if that was such a huge thing, like I said, backwards compatibility would have sold a lot more. Indie games, like I said, man, that's on PlayStation and Nintendo, even on Xbox. MMOs, they're dead. Nobody plays MMOs anymore, but those have been on consoles. Besides World of Warcraft. Early access, funny. Multiplayer, funny. Xbox titles, funny. Definitely with PSSR 2 and PS6 coming around the corner. It's going to be more powerful than 90% of the PCs. I'm just saying, I'm just countering everything you're saying because it's obviously stupid. PC exclusives, what? Please name some PC exclusives that we care about. They don't really exist. Frogboy says, sadly, PlayStation games are not the absolute bangers they used to be. I don't know about that, but if you mean like consistently, yeah, with certain things, there's some truth to some of that. But now Sony has more exclusives than ever. Like back then, like if you think about the PS3 era, there were some up and downs with that. Then they made the hit in the end with like Uncharted, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, Last of Us. And it's like, okay, those made a huge impact. But PS4 era, like I said before, you actually had to wait a while. And then you got Infamous Second Son in April or March, the year following the late year it came out. And it was a while till we got to Bloodborne. Whereas PS5 actually came out with a lot of exclusives and a lot of backwards compatibility support to play PS4 games in the next gen sense. They just made their mistake with those cancels. But other than that, I don't know. If you look at the first party games now, Sony has definitely caught up, and they're going to be catching up even more. And I think it'll eventually pass it up just because of how strong they started off the generation. Whereas Xbox had none. Xbox is the one that really fell off big time, but they have to make that comeback this year with all those franchises is supposed to be coming out strong. Forza we already knew, but Gears needs to be strong. Fable needs to be strong. State of Decay 3 needs to be strong. Halo, you have no multiplayer. Like that's the biggest letdown to me, like period. But other than that, it's like Sony made a turnaround. Like you got to think about when they were in that cancel situation to where they are now. They had a whole bunch of games coming out this year. And they're sharing games with PC like Marvel, Kena, Marathon, MLB The Show, Soros, Wolverine. That's what I mean. They're dropping a lot of first-party games. Like, I don't understand how they didn't make a turnaround. Whereas, like, you look at where PC is at, it's like, okay, let's see what you're dropping. Nothing. Unless Half-Life 3 comes out. Then, yeah, that's huge. Which I hope it does. And plus, Sony has GTA 6 marketing in rights. You're not getting GTA 6 this year. It's like they're in a position to have really good games. And Nintendo's dropping a whole bunch of games as they do yearly. I'm trying to figure out where you drop games at. Miso says, I miss when they had games that you want to play. There's nothing wrong with feeling that. But now it seems that all remakes and hardly any originals. What do you mean? I don't know about no hardly any originals. They definitely still do that a lot. So that's why should I care FPC? I'm not going to be saying all of that on behalf of the PlayStation community, FPC, but that's just going to be the warring. Jason's report was released last week, and PC gamers are still making posts about how they don't care about PlayStation games. If it were as simple as we don't care, then you guys still wouldn't be tweeting about it. Yeah, obviously there's something there. And there's people that have been making some salty posts. You've seen my videos. So I don't know about that. If we go to PC, he's just at YouTube, GTA 6, Astrobot, Demon Souls, Wolverine, Gran Turismo 7, Soros, Intergalactic, Physics coming with Kojima. Yeah, like I said, it's not happening. You should put Ghost of Yotei on there because Ghost of Yotei is not coming. It isn't. So, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ghost of Yotei, 9. And Gran Turismo 7 is in development. Bloodborne, you never got that. Bloodborne Next Gen or Bloodborne Remake, you're not going to get that. It's like, oh yeah, Dustblood coming out for Switch, you're not getting that. Not a hot take, it's facts. As a PC gamer, I care more about freedom on how play my games. Oh, you meant to say how I play my games. That's all right. If I wanted to play PlayStation games, I would play it on PlayStation. Yeah, having them available. See, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, go get a PlayStation because you're never going to miss them. Available on PC was nice, but 9 times out of 10, when I game, it's not a PlayStation nor Xbox game. It's a rhythm game like Guitar Hero. There's nothing wrong with this post right here. That's just a difference of preference, and that can happen. Even if you're a PC gamer that loves PlayStation games, the studios are only putting out 1 or 2 tempos per year. Pulling games off PC, if it actually happens, really isn't taking away much and it sure as hell isn't enough to spend $500 on another plastic box. Okay, yeah, like Sony's only having 2 games per year. What's going on this year? Soros, MLB The Show, Marathon. I'm just saying, even if you didn't have a PC. Phantom Blade, Marvel Tokon Fighting, Wolverine, Kena 2. Like, is that only 2 games? Even though you say tempo, but it's like, no. That's not what's only going on, though. Exclusive gotcha. So what if you only have PlayStation and Xbox? And Nintendo. Guess what? In the console sense, Sony's only having those games on their hardware unless they're sharing a game like Marathon or MLB The Show. It's like, okay, then we could take that off. But it's still games that Sony is releasing and publishing. Neo 3. You see what I mean? That's not coming to Xbox. So that's why I said that the turnaround this year is actually pretty huge compared to what they were doing before. They're trying to speed up their development. That's why they were doing the Gen AI as well. So 2 games only, that's not true. And they always have money hats. Watch this showcase. You're gonna have even more money hats. Just saying. PlayStation does not optimize their games well on PC. It's just not true. Yeah, that's a lie. Almost all ports from Nixes are very well optimized. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand that dishonest statement. Like, why are you being dishonest? PlayStation's release pace has slowed to a crawl. The rare games they put out are meh at best, and by the time they finally port them to PC a year later, nobody cares anymore. Everybody's already on to the next thing. So yeah, no one cares over missed their games being on PC. Now a lot of people are going to agree with this. You see, that's why they're not saying anything. Sony could have actually had a lot more if it weren't for those live service cancels. Just think about it. Just saying, we had Last of Us Part 1 going on, shared that. Last of Us Part 2, shared that. Concord could have been something better and instead of that, but guess what? That got canceled along with all those other games. You see, they could have had that. So you saying that when they don't make that mistake now going forth, I don't want to hear anything because that's not going to happen anymore. Instead, it's going to be a lot of single player games and classic revivals. Get ready. As I'm telling you guys, this year, next year, the year after that, and the rest of the PS6 generation, you're going to be surprised at what's going to be coming out, and you're going to want to play it. I'm telling you. So it's just funny stuff here. This guy says, this is a straight up lie, but you are a retarded PC fraud, chill grifter, so I don't expect anything better. Yeah, I mean, there's some people on there that could be a lot more immature and childish than on consoles. Just because you choose what console you want to be on does not make you more mature than some other platform. I say Nintendo probably has the most mature community though, because they're most likely like the least warring. Though it's kind of went up a little bit lately. There's some people that come out and do that, but that's because of the grift against them. But yeah, it's mainly PC, Xbox, and PlayStation that usually get into that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I can get this. Zeke says the fact that y'all are still talking about this means that y'all are in fact heard about PlayStation games not coming to PC. That's the way I feel, because I feel like when you have to make these type of posts so much, you have something to say. Yeah, sure, you could make a statement and then say, this is why I don't care. And I could be like, okay, I can understand that. It doesn't necessarily always mean that it's bad, but I've seen some posts where people were saying now they're not supporting Sony ever again. I'm not going to buy a PlayStation. I'd rather sit here and wait because they wanted it, but they just, like, it reminds me of Xbox. It needs to come to Xbox. And I'm not an Xbox only guy. I'm a Steam only guy, but you want those games. You just want them in a position that you want to support. Me, I'm just going to have them all because I'm not going to sit there and imagine that I'm going to be playing it on this device one day when I already know what the company told me. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm going to go get the device. It ain't that big of a deal. And I'll trade in the other device and take money off of it. And it never was a problem. You can actually put it on monthly fees. It's like, get out of here. People go pay $1,000 for one cell phone per year. Some people get 2 cell phones per year. It's like, really? And then you got people that want to go get a $3,000 or $4,000 PC rig and complain that they can't play console games because they're locking them over there. I'm like, you could have spent $1,500 to $2,000 on a PC rig and still had a high-end PC and got yourself the PlayStation 5 Pro and Switch 2 and been fine and still had some money left over. That's how slow some of these people are. It's like, unbelievable. But you want to give them NVIDIA that much money and then complain and talk about anti-consumer. Okay, yeah, all right. PC gamers do care about PlayStation games. Has been evidenced explicitly by the meltdown seen on Twitter these last few weeks. PlayStation is reputed for having some fantastic ports optimization for PC, with 1 or 2 notable exceptions. Stop twisting it. PC is so hungry. Yeah, I agree. That's why you keep out playing old games. You're not getting new games. You're getting a ton of games that were always developed around console gaming because it sells the most on PlayStation. That's why I say that it's BS. And you're crying that you're not getting GTA because they're going to get their most support off of console, off of PlayStation. And now I'm pretty sure they're going to try to make the Switch 2 version, then make the PC version. And then you have the audacity to try to act like you're more intelligent when you have rigs, mouse and keyboard. Now that's on consoles too. Just saying though, monitors were lower MS, so you can do that on console. But let's just say this, and a more expensive rig paying at 120 or 200 frames per second, and you still try to cheat in games. How's that intelligent? No, it makes you a bigger loser with a handicap advantage, and you still choose to cheat. Pathetic, man. Just got to say it. And you lie too and try to act like you don't care. It's like, man, get out of here. Yeah, you do. Everybody wants good video games. Doesn't matter where they're coming from. Complain about Nintendo games too, because you can't get them. So I think it's more that there are a lot of amazing games releasing day one on PC. So PC players don't need to be excited for a PC release of a 2 to 3 year old game. If that's always the case, I wouldn't say that. You were all over Helldivers more than any other game historically, recently. And that came from PlayStation Studios. So you're saying a lot of amazing games, and these games are games that are made around consoles. No matter how you try to spin this, you're not going to get around this. I want you guys to let me know what you think. Like I said, become a member if you want. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, subscribe. This type of stuff to me is hilarious. I'm not surprised. But remember what this guy said, y'all. He really does not know what he's talking about. He literally went and said indie games, MMOs, early access, multiplayer communities, and Xbox titles. I still think that's absolutely hilarious. Like, that hasn't been on consoles. Oh, funny stuff, man. Later, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to laugh at that.